Introduce yourself and start at the beginning. What year it was that you got into veganism, and then what happened.
All right, cool. My name is Paulo. I'm 31. I was born and raised in Brazil, and the veganism thing for me started. It was about spring 2017, and I was in England. I was living in England at that time, and so I've been vegan for almost just about 3 years. But recently, I was not feeling well at all. Like I had injuries, I had fatigue,
You said
low energy.
2017. How is that 3 years?
Sorry, 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, spring 2016. Um, I remember well because my birthday is on the 5th of May, and just after my birthday that year, I started to watch some documentaries and then kind of made the switch. Um, I wasn't unwell physically or mentally at that time at all. I was working out in the gym, and my goal was pretty much feel good about myself. And I play drums, so I just wanted to be fit enough to perform playing drums well. And so, out of nowhere, I was watching Netflix and I watched this documentary called, I think it's called um, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead,
Mm-hmm.
which is about a guy that goes on a juice
Yeah, yeah.
diet for about a month, 2 months, or whatever. And I found that interesting, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll give that a go just for a week and see how I feel and stuff. And then soon enough, I signed myself at the Worldwide Vegan University, aka Netflix. So I've watched pretty much all of those documentaries, the conspiracy, the forks over knives, and everything. And I pretty much got hooked. I was like, fuck, I can't believe I've been eating animals all this time. And I think at that time, what some people say as well is I was going through some kind of spiritual awakening, if you like. My son was about to be born that year. My girlfriend was like 6 months pregnant. And I was just like trying to find myself and trying to be a better person, if you like. And then I've watched all of those documentaries and I was like, that's it. I have to do it. And I remember next day I sat down to eat what would be a normal meal for me. I had some salmon and some rice and potatoes and whatever, and I couldn't do it. I physically could not do it. And then next day I went groceries and bought the whole thing vegan and ditched pretty much all of animal products from my diet. And as I said, I wasn't unwell and I wasn't working out as normal. And for the first 6 months, I felt amazing. Um, I lost a lot of weight, but somehow I was able to keep my lean body mass, if you like. People would come see me and they'll say, dude, you look great. What have you been doing and stuff? And I looked myself in the mirror and I liked what I was seeing. I was like, that's it. I found it. This is the diet I need, you know. And then I kept going through that, but then time has passed, and then I would say after 1 year, 1 year and a half, I started to feel some changes on my energy and my overall, just joy for life, I would say. I didn't feel like working out. I didn't feel like go for a run. I didn't feel like even playing music anymore. And then, as every vegan would say, I thought to myself, I'm not doing it right. There's something I'm missing. And then I've done a little bit more research on it. I asked help from a nutritionist. The guy was actually a pescatarian, if you like. He used to work out at the same gym as I did, and he helped me out with my macros, and he set up some kind of a diet that I should follow and work out and stuff. And from there, I started to count my macros for every single meal, prepare my meals, and I had pretty much in that. Like it was veganism to perfection, I would say. All of my meals had, how much grams of protein, carbs and the fat, from everything from greens to vegetables, legumes, tofu, brown rice, sweet potatoes. I would spend so much money on that food because I wanted, the best stuff. Supplementing, I would supplement with pretty much everything you can imagine. I had B12. I think B12 I had liquid, I had pills, I even had an injection one time, for B12. I would supplement with vitamin D3, vitamin A, vitamin B, pretty much everything you can find in fish, I would get in pills.
Hmm.
And I didn't get anywhere, to be honest. Um, I used to run about 30 miles a week easily, and I start to get injuries. Um, my knee was my first injury. I was running a 15K race. I was in Brazil at that time, and my knee just wouldn't take it. I stayed about a month or 2 months after that, just recuperating from my knee. Never had knee injuries before. Neither my family. My sister runs a lot as well. She never had any issues. Anyway, but of course it wasn't a problem with my diet. It was something else. Maybe I didn't train enough. Or I had to do more um, muscle strength in the gym to get myself going, etc. All I can say is that with time, I did not feel like working out. I would get in the gym and my body would say, I would rather do some stretching or yoga. I would look at the weights and I did not feel like working out at all. And then what I've also noticed was, when it's about me, I play drums for about 15 years now. And to get a song and play on a drum for me, it was pretty much like an instinct. I listened to it like once or twice. I'll sit on the drums and within about 20 minutes I got it. It has always been like that. And recently what I've noticed is I just couldn't play a song. Even if it's like a hip hop song, which is like a loop of the same loop, but for like 2 or 3 minutes, I would sit up and then I couldn't play it. My brain would just not function. My
Hmm.
body, my brain, wasn't there basically. And then recently, what I really felt was my mental illness just increased a lot. I just became a blunt person, very depressed, quite bipolar, if you like. A lot of people around me kind of noticing it. I wasn't laughing anymore. I wasn't vibrant anymore. I would get to a place and always had this kind of, you know, dragging through the day at work, meetings with my managers. I was always being negative about everything. I didn't have joy about life at all. And then I think the bottom line for me was, so I wasn't feeling great at all already. And there was this day I stopped and I thought, what is wrong with me? I mean, I take care of my fitness, I take care of my diet, I take care of my mental aspect of it. I do meditation, I do yoga and all that, and I feel like crap. I didn't feel like joy to live. I didn't want to wake up next day. I had nothing to look forward to. And then that made me start thinking about my diet again. And I started to make some research about it. I read a few articles, and I started to watch some ex-vegans testimonials. Came across some of your videos on the internet as well. And what they described on the video, it's pretty much like it was me. You know, Everything I was feeling mentally and physically, I was like, this is exactly what I'm feeling. And then I decided to make experiments from there. So a few weeks ago, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I went to the grocery shop and I got some eggs and I got some salmon and I got a little bit of yogurt. I remember I went to the grocery shop and then that's when I realized how much my mentality towards food changed. Because I went to the section I never been to for the last 3 years, and it was hard for me to cope with it. Just grabbing the salmon and seeing all those meats shown on the shelves and stuff, and I just grabbed the salmon, grabbed the eggs, and I was out. Next day, my breakfast, rather than being a bowl of oats and nuts and a bit of plant protein and all that, that's what I had every morning. I made some scrambled eggs with a little bit of salmon, and I had some yogurt. And man, what I can describe after that was pretty much like having an injection of happiness. I got out of the house and I was feeling amazing. Like I was listening to music on the headphones and just, it was like I was back. So vibrant, and I had so much good stuff around my mind and my body. And I got to work like with a big smile, talking to everyone, and I could see that they were noticing it, that I was different.
Mm.
Saying good morning, hey, how's everyone going? Just everyone looking at me, hey man, how's it going? Yeah, good. I just felt amazing. And then from there, that's when I realized that, even though my heart and my mind still wants to be vegan, if you like, I still love the animals, I still care about the environment and all that, I realized I wasn't listening to my body, you know. And for such a long time, my body gave me signs that I was craving those nutrients, and I was just denying it. I had some cravings for eggs just about over 6 months since I went vegan, and I thought about having eggs here and there, or yogurts and cheese, sushi, especially sashimi is something that I always enjoyed having. And I just got that out of my mind. I was like, I'm not there anymore. I'm a different person. I'm better. I evolved, and I would just deny giving those nutrients to my body. And since there, it was like a quick comeback. Just like playing drums for me. I'm just back, man. I sit on the drums and I play the way I used to play, with joy, and I feel that I'm there. I can focus a lot more. I can focus at work a lot more. My exercise, it's a lot better. And my body changed completely. Like, I was shocked. I took some pictures. Like the day I changed my diet, and 5 days after that, everything was different. My body was harder. I had more energy, and everything just changed a lot.
One question, what do you think veganism is really about? Is it just a movement? Is it a trend? And how do you see the future of veganism?
I think veganism, the way now, my vision about it is that it's a trend, but it's a very dangerous trend, which, if you think about it, the mass media is about it, it's on it, and they're promoting it. The government is promoting it. Like, I live in South Africa now, and if I go to little villages away from town, and I go to a little supermarket, they have vegan stuff. They have vegan cheese, and they have milk alternatives and stuff like that. And if it's being promoted like that, there's something about it. Something is up, And if you really think about it, what a vegan diet is, it's basically high carbohydrates, which is essentially sugar. What sugar does to you is it gets you in this mood of up and down. It has no nutrients about it. So you become this materialist person because you're not happy. So you have to buy more stuff to be happy. You have to do more stuff to pursue this happiness. And it will kill faster. So, you die faster and consume more during your life. So that can be dangerous, right, for you. But it's definitely a trend that it's growing a lot. A lot more people are falling into veganism, and I see a lot. Like recently, I saw someone saying, "Damn, I'm getting sick all the time. I think I should go vegan," because they see as the ultimate of health.
Right.
And I've just been through it, and it's really not about health, man. It's about, I don't even know how to word it, but it's definitely not about health.
Hmm.
What do you think about
I have a whole video on
it?
it. That I definitely want to get rid of meat, and they're pushing veganism because they want, even if it's a few million people, to accept it, and then talk everybody else into it. Because their goal isn't to make people vegan; their goal is to simply make fake meat, soy meat, lab meat, and get people to eat that. And the vegan movement is just a way to get to that point.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. That's very dangerous, man. And and I see now very young teenagers, the 12, 13, and 14, they grab their phones, they watch a video of someone on YouTube making those colorful meals, and they're like, oh, I want to be like that.
Mm.
But not because they relate to health, because they relate to that person. Maybe that person is, let's say she's a model and she lives a lifestyle that teenager wants to have. So she believes that she must go on a vegan diet to become that kind of image.
Right.
When you realize it, that there's no nutrients. And some of those YouTubers, there's something I noticed as well. I used to follow a lot of those vegan YouTube channels, if you like. And recently I watched their videos and I was like, he doesn't look healthy at all. And you go back on the videos like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they look okay. And now they're just deteriorating themselves.
Mm.
In the beginning of my journey, someone gave me the book of Dr. Gregor's, How Not to Die. And I mean, a guy that dressed himself as a doctor and write a book named How Not to Die. You must believe in a guy like that. And what I didn't realize is how unhealthy that human being looks.
Yeah, I've heard that he has pancreatic cancer, but he's hiding it. It's this rumor floating around, and that's why he looks so bad, all pale and like he's dying.
Not surprised.
Uh,
Not surprised. I mean, you look at him, he's just like, there's nothing. Like his eyes are just like dark eyes, and you just want to help him.
right.
Steve Jobs died from it as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some testimonials and videos and stuff that says he was strict about his diet. He was vegetarian for most of his life and stuff. And
Mm.
I could definitely relate to something like that. And I think Ashton Kutcher was making a movie.
Right, and he landed in
It's
the
the
hospital.
biography of
Mm-hmm.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And he went to the hospital like a month after following that diet, right?
Mm. Anything else you would like to add about your experience with veganism? Something special? Or anything you would like to say to any vegans who are watching?
Um, I think for me, what it triggers going back to the basics was really my mental health, because the physical and the energy and the fitness levels and all that was a signal, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. But when I really started to get depressed and just sad about everything, and that's when I realized something was up. And if you don't have a good support system, if you don't have friends around, if you don't have family around, you can just get in the trap of going around, you changing your diets. Because I've seen a lot of people going, okay, I'm doing it wrong. I'm going to fast for 3 days, or I'm going to go fruitarian, or I'm going to go raw vegan, and all you're doing is worse and worse and worse. You're just going deep into the hole, and that's what your body does. Once it doesn't have the nutrients, your brain starts to deteriorate. And I didn't realize how connected your stomach or your digestive system is related to your brain functionality. So once this is not working and you're not getting the nutrients, your brain just starts failing, really. So yeah, listen to your body. That's what I would say to other vegans. I have a very good friend in Brazil. He went vegan pretty much same time as me. And as soon as I had this awakening of what I was doing to myself, I texted him and I was, hey man, do you want to talk about it? And then I saw some pictures of him and his girlfriend on social media and stuff. And I could see already the changes that I was going through as well. The first thing you notice is there's not enough meat on the shoulders. You start to see the bones coming out, and the cheeks, they're going thin as well. And you can just notice that person's just get older very quickly, right? But straight away he cut it off. He was like, "There's no way I'm gonna go back to eating animals again." Like, there's a point that you cannot just go further, I guess. But yeah, it doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you more intelligent. It doesn't make you smarter or better than everyone else. And that's a very dangerous thing about veganism. You start to get the sense that you're better than everyone else around you. You go to a restaurant and you see people eating. You're like, oh, what are they doing? How much harm they're doing to the world and how much harm they're doing to themselves. They're gonna die young. I'm glad I got out of it. I start to judge my own family, man. I went back to Brazil and we were partying and they're cooking their meals and stuff. And people that loved me, like my mom and my dad and my uncles and my aunties and stuff, and I saw them eating, having breakfast, like having some eggs or whatever they want to eat, and I would judge them. And from there, that's when I started to notice that I was becoming this grumpier version of me. Seeing people that I love, that I care about, and judging them because of what they're eating, So a lot of vegans have that. You don't really realize because they come across this very connected with the environment and connected with the health and stuff. But once you really get to talk to them, they will throw some stuff that relates to hate, that relates to judgmental to other human beings. Just quickly, I just wanted to mention a quick comment that a friend of mine did. We were doing this hiking, and we saw this dragonfly. And then someone mentioned like, "Oh, how cool is this dragonfly and stuff?" And he was like, "I hate dragonflies." He was like, "Why? Why would you hate a dragonfly?" And he was like, "Well, they eat other animals. They eat other flies." He was like, "Well, that's bloody nature. That's what they do. Cats eat rats. Dragonflies eat other flies. Lions eat other animals. That's nature." And that pretty much summarizes what veganism is. What today I comprehend. We're going completely against nature. We're eating foods that we've never been able to get, and we're ditching pretty much what is essential for us.
They try to protect chicken, but chicken eat animals. Where's the logic?
Exactly. And my blend, I haven't used my blender for the last 3 weeks because that's all you do when you're vegan. You just put a lot of fruits and a lot of sugar into it, and then I used to make those gigantic smoothies, and I wasn't very aware of my digestion back then. But you drag those smoothies with like 2 bananas and oats and berries and stuff, and my belly would work for the whole day, just making noises and stuff. And I didn't realize, but I was having diarrhea for the last 3 years.
Oh.
And in the beginning, you think, okay, I'm eating more. I'm going to the loo a lot more. I used to go to the loo 3 or 4 times a day, thinking that was healthier. Now, oh, this is working perfectly now. This is great. You go 3 to 4 times a day to the bathroom. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I changed my diet, I stayed 3 or 4 days without going to the loo. And my theory is that my body was craving those nutrients so much that I pretty much used all of it.
Right, exactly.
Would that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And this is common,
Yeah.
actually.
Right, because it wasn't like I was feeling constipated at all. I was good, but it's just like I realized, oh, it's been almost 4 days going to the loo and stuff. And when I went, it was pretty much like 5% of the food I ate for the last 4 days.
Mm.
And my digestion now is perfect. It's working perfectly fine. It's really great. So yeah, man, that's pretty much my story.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing.
No problem.